Have you ever been puzzled by an ESLint error that just doesn't make sense? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into the frustrating world of ESLint's import no named as default rule and how to resolve it. I totally get it. It can be incredibly frustrating when you're trying to write clean code and a linter throws an error that leaves you scratching your head. You're not the only one facing this issue. Many developers have been there. Let's take a closer look at the specific situation. One user reached out with a question about the import no named as default rule. They shared their file structure and code snippets, but they couldn't figure out why their import statement was causing a linting error. Sound familiar? Let's break it down together. So what exactly is happening here? The import no named as default rule is designed to prevent confusion when importing default exports that share the same name as named exports. This can lead to unexpected behavior in your code. Let's clarify this issue. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a quick tip that can help you avoid these linting issues in the future. To resolve the ESLint warning, the user should first understand the reason behind the import no named as default rule. This rule prevents importing a default export with the same name as a named export from the same module. Next, the user should check if there are any named exports in the button.back.jsx file. If there are, they need to ensure that the default export does not share the same name. If the user finds a named export with the same name as the default export, they can either rename the named export or the default export to resolve the conflict. After making the necessary changes, the user should run the linter again to ensure that the warning has been resolved. This can be done by running the lint command in the terminal. Fun fact, did you know that ESLint was created in 2013 to help developers write better JavaScript? It's come a long way since then, and it's a lifesaver for many of us. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution to the ESLint import issue is to use Babel ESLint. First, install the package using npm or yarn. Then, add parser Babel ESLint to your ESLint-rc config file. This allows ESLint to recognize your Babel configuration, which includes React support, resolving the linting error. That's it for that response. Let's explore another one. One user found a solution by checking the export in their file. They realized they had mistakenly used both export class and export default connect. After correcting the import line in the parent file, the ESLint warning disappeared. Let's move forward and look at another answer. An alternative solution provided by another user is to add an exception in your ESLint-rc file. They suggest turning off the rule for preferred default export. That's all for that response. Let's see what someone else had to say. An alternative solution from another user suggests modifying your import statement. Instead of importing button.back as a default export, they recommend importing it as a named export. This means changing your import line to import button.back with curly braces. Now, let's shift our focus to a different response. An alternative solution provided by another user is to use aliases for your imports and exports. You can export your component with an alias and then import it using the same alias to avoid the linting issue. Here's the quick tip I promised. Always keep your exports organized and consider using unique names for your components. This will save you from many linting headaches down the road. And there you have it. You should now have a clearer understanding of how to resolve the import no named as default issue. If you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button for more coding tips and tricks. Remember, clean code leads to fewer headaches.